Good morning, everyone. The boys just came back. It's been great. That's one of those things. Oh, and he comes and says hi. Look, you guys, here he is. Bo. That's our big honcho. Here's the leader of the pack. And we've had some days where I would let them out and they wouldn't come back for 8, 12 hours. And that's too long. So we had to kind of make a decision, especially since it is hunting season as well, and not let them out, let one at a time out. Anyway, so I started letting them out together again, and I would tell Buzz, and now listen, you got to bring these guys back at a reasonable time if you want to continue this. I said, I want to let you guys all out. I want you to run out there, but we don't live here. This household, this farm isn't the only one around. There are other people, there are other homesteads, okay, hunters out there, and okay. And I said, you're gonna, come on now, bring those guys back at a reasonable time. So for the last couple of weeks, I let them out, and he actually would. 2-3 hours, and they would be back every time. But before I let him out, I always say, now, Bo, remember, okay? And when he comes back, I praise him. That was good, didn't it? Okay. Talking to a dog. Oh, this is Jake. Jake doesn't have a brain. He got one to be trained, a very good one. He is a very typical German Shepherd that can be taught many things. Right? Yes, he's absolutely focused on training if one does that. We don't really have any. What do we train him for? To protect the place, which, interestingly enough, didn't I talk about coyotes some time back? Like we don't have none. Soon after that, we realized we got way more than we thought we did. And they've been making their presence known, and the dog's kind of been going nuts, especially at night. We may not have lost 2 roosters, which I'm not sorry about. We had too many. Okay, how does prayer work? Father, if they need to have something to eat they have puppies right now as well. If they need to have something to eat, and we got them extra roosters, let them get those. I'm coming, guys. Okay. Oh, everybody ate. Go on. Is there enough water? Yeah, there is. They ate. Now they're thirsty. Yes. And sure enough. All right. How did they get the roosters? Well, if you have that many, we have one honcho rooster who won't let the other ones in the chicken coop unless they somehow manage to, okay. Well, anyway, too many roosters. We'd have to get rid of at least 2 of them, and I think we just did. Interesting. Everything's so interesting, right? Yes. Does a dog really understand well, that dog does. That's my sister-in-law right there, and that's her dog. Interesting story that goes with it. When she decided that she was coming here, he jumped into the car and he wouldn't get into her truck, wouldn't get back out. She says, well, I guess you're coming with me. And just an amazing dog. When she's not here, it kind of depends a little bit on what mood he is in. But when she's not here, he goes into hibernating mode. And he'll be up in her room all day. Won't eat, doesn't drink anything. Okay, if it's more than a day, of course. He's not a dumb dog who's going to starve himself to death or get dehydrated or anything. But he can wait. And somehow he understands too when I say, no, Mom's not coming home today. But yes, today. And he gets all excited. And about 2 hours before she may get home, he wants to go outside, be on the porch, and he's waiting for her again. Pretty amazing dog, I have to say. So And there he goes up with her. Anyway, let's get started. Our animal stories, right? Yes, yes, yes. Most people always just talk about the relation when you're centered on God, the relationship with everyone. With what? Mankind, other human beings. But it isn't just that. Why would God then create the animals and the plants? Well, of course, that's for our survival, right? Gotta eat something or this or that. I don't think it's just that. There can be a give and take to be had with plants and animals that goes beyond just the need of survival as well. I've seen that with people. Now, I love growing plants and I have a relationship to plants, this and that, but again, it's very average, just like with animals too. Everything that I do is average, okay? But I've seen people who do very little, know very little, yet they got that green thumb. Anything that they get, that they grow, if they water it, if okay, they pay some attention to it, just loves being around them, right? Yes, with the animals, the same thing. Yeah, okay. What I also found is that it's difficult to kill plants. Even when they're not watered or fed anything or this or that, kept in the dark, it's very difficult. But eventually, when the care absolutely isn't there anymore, they will die. And with animals, it's kind of the same thing, isn't it? Yes, abused animals, this and that, or just not cared for. Yet, what I found is there too, the reason that they do survive for as long as they do, right? Rather than just, okay, is because they go into hibernating mode and wait, right? And they wait until either someone suddenly comes and saves them from their misery, or eventually they just die. Yes? Oh. Interesting. Okay. Anyway, so we are in the first book of Kings in 15. The reign of Abijam in Judah. So that Abijam then was Rehoboam's son, who succeeded him. 913 to 911. Oh, 2 years. That was it. In the 18th year of King Jeroboam, son of Nebat, Abijam became king of Judah and reigned for 3 years. 3 years. How the heck is that 3 years? 913 to 911. Uh-huh. You see, how they're not making any sense. Whatever. Ugh. For 3 years in Jerusalem. His mother's name was Maacah, descendant of Absalom. So I'm interesting how they know that now, but they didn't know. In everything, he followed the sinful example of his father before him. His heart was not wholly with Yahweh his God, as the heart of David his ancestor had been. The heart of David wasn't like that either. Why did all of his descendants end up the way they did? Most likely because, but here it is mentioned again, on how to keep trying to elevate something that was never elevated. What, for their own peace of mind? Okay. Yahweh his God gave him a lamp in Jerusalem with his son to succeed him, so keeping Jerusalem secure. For David had done what Yahweh regarded as right, and had never in all his life disobeyed whatever he commanded him, except in the matter of Uriah the Hittite. So he did. Okay, all right. Oh, and that wasn't the only thing. Whatever. The rest of the history of Abijam, his entire career, is not recorded in the book of the Annals of the Kings of Judah. Abijam and Jeroboam made war on each other. Oh, surprise. When Abijam fell asleep with his ancestors, he was buried in the city of David. His son Asa succeeded him. Oh, gosh, how old was that dude already? All right. He may have gotten injured in one of the wars, but who knows? They won't tell us that. Again, the Annals of the Kings. Why isn't that in here? Oh, I wonder why. Gosh, that would not have made that book a whole lot bigger. The reign of Asa in Judah 911 to 870. Oh, that's a pretty long reign. That's longer than anyone else. In the 20th year of Jeroboam, king of Israel, Asa became king of Judah and reigned for 41 years in Jerusalem. 911 to 870. Oh, well, okay, so now I can say, well, maybe that was his entire age. So what? The reign of Abijam in Judah from 913 to 911 was what? So he was 2 years old? Okay, 3 years old? All right, no, it says the reign of Asa in Judah, 911 to 870. Sounds it was way more than 41 years. What, he didn't know how to do math at that time? Oh, golly. All right, well, that explains a lot with other stuff. His mother's name was Maacah, descendant of Absalom. Wait a minute, wasn't that the same one? Abijam, his mother's name was Maacah, descendant of Absalom. Wait a minute. If that was Abijam's son, wait, did I read something wrong? His son Asa succeeded him. Asa became king of Judah and reigned for 41 years. His mother's name was Maacah, descendant of Absalom. The same one? How the heck does that work? Look, I'm just saying. Somebody didn't notice that? Now, how can that be right? It isn't. Okay, more stories. Asa did what Yahweh regards as right, as his ancestor David had done. He drove the male prostitutes out of the country and got rid of all the idols which his ancestors had made. Somebody who cleaned up ended up being protected by God and lasted for quite some time. How interesting. He even deprived his grandmother Maacah of the dignity of great lady for having made an obscenity for Asherah. Asa cut down her obscenity and burnt it in the ravine of the Kidron. Now, how come Asa was different? It doesn't tell us. Why was this son different? I would like to know why. That would be interesting. Though the high places were not abolished, Asa's heart was loyal to Yahweh throughout his life. He deposited his father's and his own dedicated gifts of silver, gold, and sacred vessels in the temple of Yahweh. Asa and Baasha, king of Israel, were at war with each other throughout their reigns. Okay, well, that hasn't changed. Baasha, king of Israel, marched on Judah and fortified Ramah to blockade Asa, king of Judah. Asa then took all the remaining silver and gold left in the treasuries of the temple of Yahweh and the royal palace. Entrusting this to his servants, King Asa sent them with the following message to Ben-Hadad, son of Tabrimon, son of Hezion, the king of Aram, who lived in Damascus. Look at that. Look, as I said again, wow, what detail and who was whom and where they're from and I don't know what, right here. Otherwise, it's completely devoid. Let us make an alliance between myself and yourself, between my father and your father. Look, I have sent, between my father and your father. 2 sons. Look, I have sent you a gift of silver and gold. Come, break off your alliance with Baasha, king of Israel. Also, the fighting is still within Israel. They're still fighting each other. God almighty. Don't they have enough to do otherwise? Which will make him withdraw from me. Ben-Hadad listened favorably to King Asa and sent the generals of his armies to attack the towns of Israel. He ravaged Abijam, Dan, Abel Beth Makkah, all Chinneroth, and the whole territory of Naphtali. I wonder how it feels like. I mean, we had a civil war here, right? I wonder what it feels like to kill your own countrymen without really knowing what's going on, or for what it is for, right? Yes? Hmm. How is that any different than just killing off your own family members or fighting with your family members? Yes? I'm just asking. When Baasha heard this, he gave up fortifying Ramah and retired to Tirzah. Oh. King Asa then summoned all Judah. No one was exempt. They took away the stones and timber with which Baasha had been fortifying Ramah, and King Asa used them to fortify Gebah of Benjamin and Mitzpah. The rest of the history of Asa, all his valor, his entire career, is this not recorded in the book of the annals of the kings of Judah? I don't know. Why do you keep asking me? I have no idea. Why don't you put it in here? In his old age, however, he contracted a disease of his feet. When Asa fell asleep with his ancestor, he was buried with his ancestors in the city of his ancestor David. His son, Jehoshaphat, succeeded him. Wow. So again, I always say God has nothing to do with any of this. I think this proves this, because those prophets earlier on said what? What did God say? Just saying. Neither of their lineages would survive. They would all die like, and be eaten by dogs, blah, 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 blah. That's all blah, blah, blah. God never did or do anything like that, said anything like that. What we're reading here is just human folly from A to Z. And he contracted a disease of his feet. I bet you he had gout. Maybe not. How about I don't know. The reign of Nadab in Israel, 910 to 909. 1 year? Nadab, son of Jeroboam, became king of Israel in the second year of Asa, king of Judah. And he reigned over Israel. That's Jeroboam's. Yeah. He did what is displeasing to Yahweh. He copied his father's example and the sin into which he had led Israel. Baasha, son of Ahijah, of the house of Issachar, Ahijah. Ahijah was that one man of God, wasn't he? Plotted against him and murdered him at Gibbethon, a Philistine town with Nadab and all Israel were besieging. Oh my gosh. Baasha killed Nadab and succeeded him in the third year of Asa, king of Judah. Ahijah's son. Baasha was Ahijah's son. The man of God murdered. Wow, okay, man. No sooner was he king than he butchered the entire house of Jeroboam, not sparing a soul, and put an end to it, just as Yahweh had foretold through his servant Ahijah of Shiloh. Oh, is this the different? Okay, this is the Ahijah of Shiloh. This is the Ahijah of the house of Issachar. Was there a difference? Interesting. Because of the sins which he had committed and into which he had led Israel, and because he had provoked the anger of Yahweh, God of Israel. The rest of the history of Nadab, his entire career, is this not recorded in the book of the annals of the kings of Israel? I have no idea. Was it? The reign of Baasha in Israel, 909 to 886. Interesting. Short reigns of 2 on either side, and then a quite long reign of 2 on either side. In the third year of Asa, king of Judah, Baasha, son of Ahijah, became king of Israel at Tirzah for 24 years. 909 to 886. All right. That sounds about right, actually. Okay. He did with he did what is displeasing to Yahweh. He copied the example of Jeroboam and the sin into which he had led Israel. Really? Okay. That is it of 15. What a mess. Ugh, I don't even. Just a mess. Men. Men and their lust for killing. It is what it is. When one is an outsider to history like that, which I am, I'm descendant from Celts. I'm nowhere near. My ancestry was nowhere near evolving, or this or that, the Israelites. Okay? I'm a descendant from the Celts. Long history there too. Some of it is good, some of it is not. Right? Yes, okay. But it isn't anywhere recorded in a Bible, right? Yes, okay. So I'm an outsider. I'm looking at this and on how the people of Israel are such an important part to all of our history when it comes to God. Yes, well, the Celts eventually got away from their the Druids and the pagan religion and became Catholics. You can go and look all around the world where the Celts settled. Eventually, they were traveling. There were nomads, not in the desert, rather in the mountains. And go and look. They all became Catholics. All of them. Every one of them. And started to believe in that one God. Yeah, all right. Of course, the Israelites are the predecessors of all that. Yes? All right. When I look at the Catholic Church today, they are not in a much better position, or ever have been, than what went on in the New Testament than what's going on with the Israelites in the Old Testament. Yes? And my feeling is that in the completed testaments, the Christians suddenly are going to have to take a good look at themselves as well. Yes? As the completed testament evolves. Yes? With true parents. The blessing, the change of lineage back to God. Yes? No? I don't know. I guess we'll have to find out. But that's kind of what it looks like to me. How does one take responsibility for the past as a descendant? Stop lying to yourself. Stop lying to other people. And start restoring. Yes? If we want the wars in this world to stop, then the side of God should start to take that knee and eat that humble pie and try to figure out what went wrong in the past and how things got so out of control. Yes? It all started with the people of Israel. Maybe the people of Israel still need it today to truly be the first to start it the other way. I don't know for sure. But the more I read, the more I know about what's going on out in the world, the more I think that's actually needed. Anyway, I'll be supporting you. Hasta. Next part, right? New Testament people. I've tried that actually. It didn't work because the people around me weren't ready. Maybe they weren't ready. I tried to go and apologize. I tried to be humble and take responsibility, and I wasn't accepted. Maybe it's because that wasn't my time yet, or the time for that part to be restored, because something was still ahead of that. That needed to be taken care of first. Yes? You don't start to build a house up in midair. You got to have that foundation first. Yes? Makes sense. Yep. Makes sense, doesn't it? God's love and blessings always. May He protect you, and I will talk to y'all another time.